Thank you for joining us tonight. After a virtual event last year, the annual State of the State address being held once again in front of a live audience of lawmakers at the state capitol.
Tonight's address was Governor Evers' fourth of his term. Some of the top priorities: touting tax cuts, the state's unemployment rate as low as it is, and the $1 billion in federal funds he has doled out to businesses to help recover from the pandemic.
Our Naomi Coles was at the Capitol for tonight's address. And did anything stick out to you, Naomi?
Yeah, what's obvious on nights like this is that this is not a legislature that gets along, which is not necessarily an abnormal story for governors' annual addresses. In this case, it's the Democrat side of the chamber that's standing and clapping every few minutes, while the Republican lawmakers seated around me, they stay seated. They make sarcastic comments about Evers' initiatives.
The Honorable Tony Evers.
In a speech heavy on the personal.
I raised hell, played bass guitar in a rock band in high school.
Governor Evers echoed priorities we've heard a lot, like how he's distributed millions in federal pandemic aid.
These efforts have been critical for our economic recovery, and we've worked hard to get support out the door as quickly as we can possibly do it.
A historic milestone, 2.8% unemployment.
We now have the lowest unemployment rate and the fewest number of people unemployed ever in our state's history.
He took the opportunity to call for a special session on a surplus plan to send $150 to every Wisconsinite. Republicans tried that themselves in 2018. They now call it a re-election year trick.
What we saw again tonight was the exact same empty rhetoric and campaign promises that are nothing more than focused on his 2022 re-election and not on what the real needs of Wisconsin are.
The tax cuts he touts, Republicans are quick to say they wrote.
The only act that he participated in, which was the final signature, which took about 2 minutes.
New tonight, Evers said he wants to invest tens of millions in the National Guard, school mental health services, and supporting emergency medical services.
No one should be calling for an ambulance and have to wonder whether help will come.
Finally, on spring primary election day, he called out those trying to overturn Wisconsin's 2020 election results.
Democracy is not a prophecy, it's self-actuating.
Coming on a day when 2 Republican lawmakers led a rally trying to do the illegal, decertify the election.
I think it's simply a matter of misdirected anger.
Now, one note of bipartisanship that the Republican speaker shared with reporters after the speech, a shared appreciation for the Wisconsin National Guard and getting them the resources that they need.
Naomi, thank you. And if you missed tonight's speech or response, you can watch it in its entirety on our website, channel3000.com, or on our free Channel 3000 news app.